welcome to the brand new first episode, James. First episode.
First ever.
Of the Wedcast, bruv.
The Wedcast is a fortnightly live wedding show.
Let's talk some weddings. Stop playing. Stop. Love a blooper on the first one, do you?
Yeah, I think it takes the very first one. Obviously, it takes a couple of seconds now. My audio's out.
Wow. Don't you just love it? Am I out or am I in?
You were fine.
See, I'm always fine. That's the pressures of all these years being a wedding photographer. Do you know what I mean? Always.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always bring it back. Are you in now or out?
I've got no idea. I'm still out. I can't believe it. After a flipping month. One.
I love this. Should we just carry on and see if you catch up with me, is it?
Yeah, carry on, yeah.
How are you generally doing weddings anyway? Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I rule the day and you were like behind catching up and
running around.
Anyway, so welcome everyone to the first episode of the Wedcast. My name is Les Davis. This guy was slow here. Which way are you? That way?
Yeah, I'm that way to you. I'm James. My name is James Hawker.
Magic.
Yeah. My business is magic. Yes. My magic is my business.
That's very true. So basically, we are doing this because we obviously used to shooting a lot of weddings every year. And with the crazy times we're in at the moment, we're missing weddings. So we decided with all this time in our hands that we would do something live. Although this one will be pre-recorded to try and iron out all these little problems that we're having. So I'm glad you've gone pre-recorded.
Yeah, I think I'm back now. Well,
you are.
Close. So close? Yeah, I think we should leave it in anyway, though, because
I think so.
Of, like,
why not?
Absolutely,
it's going to be live. This is going to happen on the day. Do you know what I mean? So I'm quite happy with this. So yeah. So me and James are good friends. We have shot lots of weddings together. And what did we work out earlier? There's like about 26 years of wedding experience between the pair of us.
Yeah, I think that we've both been doing weddings in a paid capacity for 13 years each, haven't we?
So it's just crazy, really, because I didn't know you back then.
No, not at all.
It's just going through weddings and seeing your magic tricks and trying to work out how you do them because you're so good at them. Like, it's just, look, I've watched you do them so many times. I just still can't do it.
It's one of those things that we can talk about maybe, if not today, definitely another episode, because you and our guest today probably see a lot of magic, but maybe not see it all because you're focusing on the reactions of the guests and things like that. I know you do especially, which is really appreciated by me and probably other magicians. But yeah, we could definitely talk about that. But thank you very much. I'll pay you later.
Thank you. Heavily,
I think. Yeah, well, maybe not heavily, but yeah. I think for me, being bored, the coronavirus situation, missing really talking about weddings, but also wanting to make sure that the people that have hired me get the right information and getting information about what they can do for their weddings is really important.
That's right. And so basically, should we tell them a little bit about what we do? As we've done a little bit, I guess, but my name is Les Davis from Clicks Photography and Film. Shooting weddings a long time now, as we just said, and I really love shooting weddings, miss weddings. That's why we've got together and done this. I started off on, I think my photography journey was on my mobile phone, which I loved. Thought that was amazing back in the day. About 15 years ago, I'd say 15, 16 years ago. Really bad, poor quality phones as there was back then. And I thought, I just love this. I really, really love taking photos. And film interested me a lot back in the day. So I did a lot on my mobile phone, really. My friend's camera, Lee Deemer, if he's watching, or if he's watching back.
I always love people's nicknames. And that's his real name, of course.
Deemer, Deamer, not Demon.
We'll have to tag him.
me tag him. I borrowed his Canon, which I can't believe I'm saying that because I've always been Nikon up until then. Anyway, burnt my hands on that. And then swatched over to Nikon for no apparent reason whatsoever. Now I shoot with the Nikon mirrorless Z6s, which are absolutely incredible. We'll do a different show about all them.
I'd love to know more about them, actually.
And literally loving and enjoying my wedding life, really.
So how did you first come to shoot? How did you first come to shoot weddings, Les?
Well, I went to university to do black and white photography, darkroom stuff, really proper, all the mixers and everything and the fluids and things. Loved that so much. Down in the University of Glamorgan. And then I wanted to do fashion. Fashion was my thing. I wanted to shoot people, not shoot them, but shoot them. And then I wanted to do fashion.
Wow.
Couldn't get in. It's such a crazy game. So I just sort of decided I wouldn't be able to do that. And then I shot a family's wedding and loved it because weddings to me is fashion.
Yeah.
It's also on trend with wedding dresses, on hair, makeup, deco, even down to the cake. It's all the latest fashion in weddings at that time, you know. So to me, it was like this is fashion to me. So it was my own sort of fashion, but in weddings. And I just literally never looked back from there. I absolutely love it. What about yourself?
Well, for me, it was, I always joke to people, and when people, the most common question I get asked is, how did you do that? And I always joke that it's amazing what you can do when you haven't got friends. Ironically, though, it was kind of true in my case, because I met my wife, Rhiannon, and I moved to Aberdeen. I'm from Bridgend originally. And then Rhiannon's friend's boyfriend is also a magician. His name's James Piper. And then
James, I know James well.
Yeah, I think most people do, to be fair.
Especially from Britain's Got Talent now.
Britain's Got Talent now, I know. Absolutely. So, yeah, me and James didn't have a lot in common in terms of, I quite like sports and he wasn't really fussed. But yeah, we did have like a mutual love of magic, and he was then and still is now a very, very good magician. And I started picking up there. And I think I was doing magic for about 4 years, just as a hobby, before James said one day he was ill and asked could I cover a wedding for him, and I was really nervous. And then I done one and never looked back from it.
Nice. Do you enjoy weddings?
Yeah, I love weddings. I absolutely love them. I've all different types of weddings. It's great. It's so funny. Like I'm sure, like for you, from like a technical perspective, but for us as magicians, was certainly I know some of us that you have an expectation of what a wedding's going to be like, and like how the mood is going to be set out, and all that's really important for magic. And then when you get there, it's completely different. And that used to really scare me, but I love all of that now. I love all our reaction and things like that. And I'm not so much into fashion, as you can probably tell, but I really do love going to weddings and seeing new things. I know we done a joint wedding last year in Hensel, Sarah's wedding, and they had the bench. Everybody signed the bench.
Yeah, I love that.
And I'd never seen that before, and I love seeing things like that. So yeah.
I seen something on their Facebook, on their social media, saying that they've actually varnished it now and it's in the garden, and they sit on it and enjoy it. And I think it's a great idea because they look down and see, have a wonderful day, signed, whoever.
Yeah,
it's perfect. So it's a really, really good idea. So. But anyway,
things. Just quickly, like on what the webcast is, just for people who are watching. Obviously, this is the first episode, and I'm sure it'll develop and kind of evolve. But I know me and you were really keen that this would not be like an online shopping experience, like watching QVC. So me and Les both obviously value our services. And we obviously think that we're fairly good. But this isn't about selling things to people, is it? This is about giving you information so you can make informed choices. And all the people who come on with the guests, and it'll always be the same.
This isn't a sales channel. This is literally a chat between two friends, bringing on other friends or people that we respect in the game, to give bride and grooms advice, and not just through this troubled times that we're going through now. But even when all this is over and we've forgotten about it, we've got a lot of experience between us, and then we bring on another guest who'll have more experience. And we've seen, I would say, probably most things happen really successfully at weddings, and things which didn't work at weddings, which nobody really knows because some people have never got married before, only once, so they don't know.
That's a key point as well, isn't it? You know, for most people, they get married once, and they're hiring services that they've got no knowledge of. You know, and when I got married, I remember thinking of things and thinking, you know, it was a lot like taking my car to the garage because I'm useless with cars. And kind of feeling I'm not knowing whether I'm going to get value for money or whether I'm going to be ripped off, and how much is it going to cost? How much does an exhaust cost? And it's that type of stuff. So I'm hoping that this will give people the information so that they do have a better idea.
I'm hoping, and even if people, future brides or grooms, watch this and pick up on one thing that we say or think, oh, I didn't think of that, it's going to help them for the day, and I'd be really happy with that. And like you said, this is going to take a while to take off the ground. It's going to be me and you chatting to each other probably for about 4 years, and then we'll have one person watching, and then be like, where have you been? Where have you been? But hey, I'm enjoying it already, man. Sorry.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. One last thing, really, about it is that I've learned loads already. You know, it's kind of I've learned loads about lighting just in trying to set this up and having the ideas and discussion. So if I'm learning, then obviously other people will be as well. So that's great.
That's right. Okay, right. Shall we bring on our first guest?
Yeah, absolutely. So
we've got Matthew Palmer waiting in the wings. Matthew is a videographer, wedding videographer. I won't say too much because you can explain all that yourself now. Matthew does a lot of work with me, shoots all my films. He's got a lot of experience, to be honest. He's quite a knowledgeable guy with film, and he hasn't just shot in Wales. He's shot in London. He's done various different Indian weddings, etc., etc. So I thought it'd be nice to bring him on for the first one because he's quite knowledgeable and he's a good crack, to be honest. So should we bring him in and say hello?
Without further ado, is it?
Without further ado. Boom.
Hey.
Welcome to the podcast.
Are you? I'm all right, thanks. I'm all good. Yeah.
Can you hear everything okay?
I can hear everything okay, and by the looks of things, you're all in sync, so that's really good. You're
actually in sync for some reason.
Oh, you've gone out again now. Oh,
yeah, you did come back.
Yeah,
probably best not to mention him, Math.
It's upsetting as well.
Probably not to highlight the bloopers, but it makes it real. I think I've gone out as well now. Who knows? Anyway, here we are. I'm actually really enjoying listening to you guys sort of talk about why you got into the industry. It's really good to see it, because I haven't actually asked you that, Les. I haven't asked you that before.
No.
How did you actually get into it? Because I know you were like a singer and stuff, and you sort of made the transition.
I'd done the band thing years ago. Quite successful, I may add.
Record
deal and all that, album. A couple of support acts and.
Did you do many weddings as a band, though, Les?
Yeah, and that's why I had to give up the band, really, doing weddings, because I started doing photography, and then so they were booking me to play the wedding as the band, and then they were booking me to be the photographer, and I was thinking, oh, this is great, I don't have to leave you. It was a long old day, long old day. So then I'd put the camera down, pick up the microphone, wait to go. But then they'd go, can you sing the first dance? And I go, of course I can, no problem. And I go, oh, hang on, I got to take photos of the first dance. How am I going to do that?
So you got a mic in one hand and a camera in the other, literally
literally camera, mic.
That's impressive. That's very
I thought it's too much now, so one had to go. So so the band went, and which I'm sad about, but there you are. That's life, and I just.
You can do it if you're a singer, but you can't do it if you're a drummer, because you kind of need two hands for that.
Nah, it's gonna be difficult with the drums, isn't it?
GoPro on your head.
Well, the guy from Def Leppard, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He had one arm. Yeah.
So nothing's impossible, is it, on the webcast?
What you complain about, Les? You got two arms, God, doesn't matter.
I know.
So thank you for having me on as your first ever guest, guys. Really means a lot.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we got a few questions for you.
Yeah.
Yes. So obviously, first of all, we kind of already got your name, Math. But what's the name of your business?
So it's Film Productions. So film in the Welsh sort of styling. I named it that because I thought it was just really funny how film is just film in Welsh with one extra F. It's a word that everyone, whether you're Welsh or English, you can read it, but there's a bit of a Welsh tint on it, like, you know. So yeah,
film. It's F film basically for film. Yeah,
F. It's just film. Yeah. Stop Productions. That's right.
Stop Productions.
Yeah. I wish I'd, like, both of you have kind of put some thought into your names of for your business with clicks.
It's a long time. It's okay. I spent weeks agonizing over it, and then
I just got my name, and my name is not it's not even a very good name in terms of when I say hawker, it's not. But I think it means like traveling salesman anyway, to be honest, which is not great. But when I tell people James Hawker, they type in James Walker and all kinds of issues. So I wish I'd had the full
Hawker sounds really cool. Hawker sounds like a hawk, you know. Like
it does. I think Hawker's a really cool name.
The Magic Hawk. I mean, that's just like, you know.
Well, that was my logo, to be honest. But it does mean something else. I remember my first girlfriend when I was 16. And I don't know if she was my first, but she was my first one. Yeah, and I went up her house first time, and it was a sign on the gate saying no traveling salesmen, no hawkers, no nothing. So I took her as a sign, literally. Wow. Anyway, I digress.
Can we just notice that I've frozen it
in the best? That was the best like mugshot ever. Then.
The elephant in the room. We talk about names. Can you imagine Leslie Davis photography? Come on, there had to be something, didn't there? You know. Anyway,
is this Leslie? Oh, yeah, she's a lovely woman. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, you probably would have that. Coincidentally, the moment you froze, you looked like you were really enjoying what I was saying. So
I really
keep that. That's going on my website.
Right. Okay. Question time. Is that?
Yeah, and basically, like I said, I'm a videographer. Film Productions does obviously the wedding side of things. We also do like, you know, corporate videos and things like that. So yeah, just wherever I'm sort of happiest being, and I've worked in the industry for weddings officially for since I started university, and yeah, like overall in terms of video, I've been into video since I was 14 years of age. So this was a natural sort of way to make my income, really, you know. So that's what Film Productions is, really.
Okay, so
that answered a few of my questions there. I thought it was great.
Which is really nice.
So why did you? I know you said you were like 14, Math, and you were kind of interested in film. Why did you start thinking? Or at what point did you start thinking? Do you know what? I'm gonna be a videographer. And you know, like mine and Les, we talked briefly about how we first done our first weddings and stuff. How did yours come about?
I mean, I shot, you know, wedding photos for a number of friends and people who knew, you know, people who knew who I was while I was in university. And it was just whenever I went to university in London, and whenever I come back to Wales, it was sort of there's a wedding to shoot. There was a low budget, and it was helping me that way. So I started off from the first year doing it that way. But then the real light bulb moment came when I was working in an Irish bar in London just after I graduated. And as you can imagine, it was like minimum wage, late nights, a horrible clientele. This wasn't it was fun in a lot of ways, don't get me wrong. But then I was starting to get offered video jobs, camera operating at Indian weddings. When I was living in London, it was a big sort of Hindu contingent. It was a very sort of populous area with Gujarati people, and I quickly discovered that there was a lot of that sort of work going. And I mean, talk about a baptism of fire. My first ever Indian wedding, it was like 800 people there. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just like, just pointing my camera at random stuff and hoping it was making sense. There was another 2 cameras there. It was 3 of us all together, so I was being helped along a little bit. And then, at the end of that night, I did a I think it was like 6 or 7 hour shoot, so quite short really. And I came on with more money they'd make in a week in the bar. And I just thought, well, I've been fed delicious Indian food. I came back from a place where everyone was happy, everyone was smiling. What a lovely place to work in. It's now 7 o'clock. I can go for a beer with my mates instead of serving the beer. And that was a real light bulb moment. It was 2012, 2013, where I was just like, you know what, this is what I want to do for a living. I absolutely loved it.
That's really beautiful. But
yeah, it was. That was the moment where I thought I've got to do this for a living. And then the next year after that, I sort of built up enough contacts to sort of start doing videography for basically every week, and that kept me going. And then I came home from London and decided to set up in 2014 properly with my own sort of name. So, and then
How long have you been shooting with me now?
I met you 2017 around this time, so 3 years ago.
For 3 years ago.
Yeah, but we didn't do our first wedding together until April 2018. Yeah, it was definitely April.
So I met Matthew James through, obviously I was looking for, because I started doing film. I'd done film before photography really. So all my brides are saying, oh, can you do film as well? And I was thinking, I can't really. But then I thought, I know my film skills. I've got that anyway. So I thought maybe I could do film when doing photography.
yeah,
So I thought, great. But then I was thinking, oh, no, if I could split myself in two, because it's different with photography. It's difficult because a bride and groom sees your work and then they want you to do that work because it's your brain, it's your creative mind. It's really difficult sort of to bring somebody else in, apart from if it's in an emergency service, times and stuff like that, something happens, touch wood, nothing ever has, but I've had a couple lined up here and there, but nothing's ever materialized. I've had to pull anybody in, I guess. So I thought, I can't do both, so I need someone. And I was thinking, racking my brains in the area, thinking, who do I know? And then I thought about Matthew. You heard a lot about him and his skills. Checked out some of his films, and I thought, well, he definitely knows how to use his camera. I need him to shoot my style, if you know what I mean. And we went through a process, Master, of me trying to get this out of you, down my arm, into your brain to say, right, can you do it like this? Can you do it like that? And fair play to him. He literally nailed it. And the stuff he's producing, the stuff he produced then was amazing for me, but the stuff he's got now, it's just really, really, top quality stuff, really, really good stuff.
It's interesting to say that because we did go through a few months of trying to get that to gel and trying to get your idea to my brain and vice versa. And I think I'd come from obviously the Indian sort of side of the market is quite dramatic and quite sort of grand and quite
of course.
Working with you made me realize that I had to take a step back and I had to sort of calm it down a bit, and I actually get something that's far more powerful just by doing it more sort of quietly, and that's what I learned. It definitely works now, so
just listening, hearing you say that you went through a process like that is really reassuring for me. Well, it would be if I was hiring somebody. And I don't think people get to hear these conversations, do they? Because there certainly are people who, at least, there would be the idea that people just bring people in to help them. And there's not. Oh, I need somebody to do video. So got a video camera in a camera. So the fact that that's gone through a process is much.
This is a long
vision, isn't it? It's more of a vision for how you're going to.
Even now, I get brides. They'll say, "Can you do film as well?" Yeah, of course. Well, you can't shoot two. No, I know. My team member, will come in and shoot with me. Oh, is he as good as you do photos? Well, we've worked together a long time. We've gone through like a training path, I guess, in better words. This is how we do it. This is how because ultimately I want him to mirror me. Do you know what I mean? And we literally, I would say, Matthew, like fine ice skaters on the ice now. When we try and stay,
like Blades of Glory.
Blades of Glory. Who's Will Ferrell? Yeah.
We stay out of each other's way. If Matthew's going our way, I know what to stay out of his way. We're like a well-oiled machine. Do you know what I mean? That's a long process to get to that. I've tried lots of people before Matthew, just didn't get it, but somehow me and Matthew click.
The one thing
Oh,
that we've definitely sort of got sorted out there is the hand signals. I mean, it's it's down to a look now. It's literally, if I look at you and you're trying to say something, you just give me a sort of look, and I know exactly what you're.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That usually means something's gone wrong. Like, but no, it is, and it's that sort of telepathy, really. You sort of you gotta learn, and it only comes with time. Like I said, James, you can't just sort of pick a videographer or a photographer at the free ads, yellow pages or whatever, and just go, all right, you're now my photographer, you're now my videographer, me and Les definitely went through that process. It was frustrating a lot of times because, I was like, I thought that was really good. I thought this would work, that would work. And then, Les would say, give me the feedback. And I'd go, I got to go back and do it again now. And how am I going to get this right? But now it absolutely works. And it's really come to fruition now, our working style. I'm not only just, seeing Les's photos, I see them, as they happen. I know what he does to make them happen. I know what he does to create them. And in similar processes means we get a very close image, and they complement each other essentially, don't they?
It's really important, isn't it? And like for me as a magician, I quite often hear couples moaning about photographers and videographers. And I'm not just saying this now, Les, because you were here, but nobody's ever moaned that you've kept them too long or you're making them do things that they don't want to do. So you seem to have a good balance of, you need the time because they want those memories captured, but at the same time, it's not overkill. So,
and I think that's just comes with experience in a way, because I mean, I've been shooting weddings like 13, 14 years maybe, and like when I first started, I probably used them a lot. I probably took them out of the day a hell of a lot because I was nervous. I didn't understand what was going on. So, but that's everybody. Everybody starts somewhere, and hopefully, I got through that process unscathed, and I've learned heavily from that. Now, my shots are quick. Do you know what I mean? I'm pre-planning. I'm chatting to Matthew. Right, Matthew, we're going to do this next. We're going to do that next. We're always a step ahead. Or I'll say to Matthew, right, Matthew, do me a favor. Can you go and get this? Or Matthew will say the same to me. Can you help this light here? Can you do that? We help each other on the day. Yeah. And I also think from me getting married, I understood what it's like to be on the other end of the camera. I mean, I had two very good photographers, Graham Harries from G Photography and Nick Marie Photography in Cardiff. Yeah. Both really good friends of mine, both really good at their trade. But I knew what it was like to be on the person being photographed as well. So I took a lot from that. And I think we've got it nailed now. I think we give them a really good balance of, it's your wedding, go and enjoy your day, but we're going to make sure you have amazing photos as well, So I'm quite proud of what we got now.
Yeah. I think you should be. Like I obviously, trying to do my due diligence and do a little bit of research. I've seen some of the videos, Matt, and I was really blown away by them. And again, I'm not just saying that. I would say something just less to be like, oh yeah, they're really good. And no, but I was looking at some earlier, and I just think, it's just really, really well done. And it was
Can I just quickly do a curveball? Can I show one quickly? It's only like a 3-minute one.
I think it'd be awesome to do that.
Matt, I didn't tell you this was happening, so
you totally ambushed me with this.
We knew.
It better be a good one.
I didn't see a bad one, Matt. So
he's gonna get one from like 2009 or something now.
So obviously Vimeo's playing up for me, so I'm going to try and play this from my website, which is clicksphotography.co.uk. Yeah, so just nip along and have a look. Let's have a look here. So we've got. Let's go here. Oh yeah, so we'll go here. Oh yeah, we play. Matthew, do this one, right?
Yeah, great.
I love it.
Oh yeah.
Right, this is really cool.
When I saw Math, I really
we got quite a few stories of this, so we'll have a little chat after this now. And I tell you what, as we go through Math, we'll just have a little chat about how we do different things. Is that okay?
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a little look. Yeah, I don't know how well this is going to play now, right? So this is Oxwich Bay, James.
I love Oxwich Bay.
Yeah, it's a really nice venue. Stunning day, as you can tell. Absolutely.
Easily my favourite beach in all of the Goa. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a place I go to myself in the camper van, just on a day out. So it's
But
definitely.
I like this little build up you do, Matt, as well, like all the little detail shots and stuff before the wedding starts.
Yeah, I'm trying to like reveal a little bit of groom first thing, and then sort of bring it back around later on. To try and sort of do a sneak peek of the future.
Pretty like the Tennessee sky. I find myself.
Can you hear the audio all right there?
Yeah, it can be great.
There's quite little nice little moments building up with the boys, because the boys are quite hard to shoot because they're not so forthcoming.
You really got to be on to capture that moment. You can't really impose that.
It's a lonely world outside.
The best angle, really,
Mm.
I remember these shots are so quick because it was
Can you remember the massive spider on the wall there?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, you've never seen a spider like it.
Size of my hand. I'm not joking. It was huge.
Wasn't it that big?
Here present to
Definitely.
witness that I, Ashley Dennis Payne, do take.
And I don't know if you can hear the audio okay on this, James.
Yeah, I can hear it really well.
We make sure we mic everybody up so they're nice and close to the speakers as well,
Audio.
Throughout our lives together.
I mean, really golden stuff. But I try to keep the mic on the for as long as I can. Sometimes you catch them saying something really sweet and it sounds weird.
And this is what a lovely moment, like. What a lovely moment.
Yeah.
I think that's the sort of keep up and that together. Comedy as well, like you gotta laugh, but like make it funny for people, and like make a laugh at as well as see it up.
Yeah.
It hasn't got to be so serious all the time.
That's right. So basically, we like to tell a story, James, from the start to the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Highlight movie, basically, Do
Do you know what? Like, I watched it earlier, and it just really is beautifully done. And again, I'm not just saying this, but I would be over the moon if this was my wedding video. I don't know if I one day will put my wedding video on, but it's like so much better.
They've evolved so much, haven't they?
As you talk about this is your baby, really.
Yeah. I mean, these shots here to me are just incredible. Look at the. It's just amazing. Love it. Love it. Works lovely with the music.
If you want to show someone how white to get married in Oxford or the Gower in general, you show them this, and
Oxford Bay promotional video all over this.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it is. It's giving me chills because I miss going outside so much. I'm like looking at it.
I
want to go there now. I want to take the dogs for a walk.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. That's basically the stuff that we get up to.
And that was one of the first ones, wasn't it, Les? I think it was the second.
Yeah, when I think when we homed in on the styles, I think that was when you started kicking it off here. And I think, this is really good stuff now. When
we did one or two where the first ones we ever did, I filmed them and gave them to you to edit, and that was the way it worked. And then we sort of looked at each other and went, well, if I'm filming it, I might as well edit it as well because I know where it's at and how it. I know how I shot things and how it should look.
That's right.
I think that was one of the first ones where we, like I said, we started to get it right. I think it might be the second or third one that I edited for you. So and I it's lovely looking back at that now because it still stands up. That's
definitely, definitely,
yeah.
And they were so happy with it. You know what I mean? So it just
And they were a lovely couple as well. They made it so easy on the day. I mean, like it was a manic day. It was so many people.
So warm as well, wasn't it? Boiling.
Yeah, it was pretty hot. Yeah, it really was.
Do you know what though? And again, I know I'm repeating myself now, but you say it stands up. Like the hairs on the back of my neck were standing up just watching it. And it's like, and it's got that vastness of of being on the beach and of the sea and drawing loads of parallels.
Moving on to another question for you now, Matt.
Yeah,
I know you're not married yet, right?
I'm not engaged yet.
You were gonna. It's Kirsty that you said you were gonna propose tonight, didn't
Oh, yeah, she's downstairs cringing right now. No.
So basically, basically, any funny stories you got from like shooting weddings over the years? I have a couple, but see if you've got a couple now.
Yeah, I mean, plenty that I can't say on
Yeah,
broadcast,
of course, yeah.
obviously. But yeah, I think it started. I don't know if it was a funny moment, but it was one of those sort of ones you tell the kids later on. We were all at this gorgeous house in, where was it? I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was basically the Queen's cousin's estate. It was a stunning.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And everything was going swell. It was a lovely day and whatever. And then we're waiting for the bride. The bride hasn't turned up yet. Okay, don't worry about it. Just give her some time. Nope, bride hasn't turned up yet. Okay, it's 10 minutes now. It's
Fashionably late.
yeah. Well, it's fashionably
10 minutes.
woodenly late, and it started again to woodenly late now. So
Registrars, I guess.
yeah, and then she calls up then because the driver of her car finally admitted that the car was fully broken down.
Oh no!
Yeah, so the car broke down on a country
Which
road.
happens, it's a car, innit?
Yeah, it was an old car. I mean, that stuff happens. So one of the bridesmaids gets a phone call saying like, I'm just on the road. So we also like looked at each other like, well, who's going to go? And I thought, well, it might as well be me because I can't do anything till she arrives. So we ran back up into my car, and literally didn't even speak to the driver. It was almost like it was a hazard. She like flew through the window, spun the car around, and then we got her there with only 5 minutes late for the actual ceremony. But it was.
So you become the car driver and videographer.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the things of like just one of those moments where you've got to go above and beyond. And I think it's not just a funny story, but it's one that I love telling. It's like sometimes things like that happen, and you've got to just step up to the mark and go for it and do what you can. And she was really thankful about it. So, and then the rest of the day went off without a hitch. So it was all good.
Yeah, good. They had to save the day.
Yeah.
I have a funny story.
Yeah.
Can you remember when we were at one wedding and like I obviously Matthew's sitting down so you can't see out the vastness how tall this gentleman is. How tall are you, Matt?
6'7".
6'7".
Are you really, Matt? Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So, and this is like it was an ongoing joke that I would say, this is Matthew, and but we'd obviously get to know the bride and grooms, and we'd have a bit of a chat and stuff. And I'd say the reason when it comes to the group shots, I'd say the only reason I have Matthew along so I don't need a ladder anymore. You just jump on his shoulders. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we thought, instead of joking, you know what's coming down. No,
I know what's coming up.
Instead of joking about this, let's just do it. We were in a place where I couldn't get elevated. I needed a big group shot done, lots of people. I needed to be higher than what they were.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me get on your shoulders then, innit? That's what we joke about. Come on in. So I said, right, everybody, this is in a part of a photography bit. This is a bit where you've got to command the crowd, everybody get in, please come on. Mom and dad's on the front and grandparents, bride and groom, bridesmaids, etc., etc. Everybody cuddle in. Here we go. I said, right, Matt, I'm just going to get on his... Somebody shouted, how are you going to get us all in? I said, I'm going to go on his shoulders now. Oh, he one lift you up there. I said, look at him, he's really strong. So he bent down. I jumped over his shoulders and it was a moment. I felt like I was like a bucking bronco. when you can't get up, he was down so low and he gets up a little bit and then he's just doing this back and forth and I'm holding his head and literally just literally fell to his knees and everybody just went Way!
So I remember him going on my back. I think I've got this. I can lift this, no problem at all. And I should mention by this point, my right knee has got a damaged PCL, so I sort of suffered with that for a few years. But I thought,
Nameless.
I thought I can get through this. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I can lift him up. And as soon as I got past a certain point, like Les is saying, I got past a certain point, I just felt my knee twinge, and I thought, nope, I haven't got this at all. And I nearly threw him into the crowd. I nearly just went like that. Launched him off my shoulder.
And to have like 200 people laughing and clapping. It was just like, oh my gosh!
I think that was like the second wedding we did. It's like,
And then I think I put my foot through a chair, something, didn't I? Something like that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, you did. Oh. Yeah. So we got a chair from the actual wedding, and then you went to stand on it, and your foot just went straight through it.
Oh,
And
no.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I give up in the end. I just went. No, I didn't. But it was one of them ones where it was just like everything was going wrong for us. But things like that, you just got to laugh them off. And to be honest, wedding parties, they didn't run the joke with you as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's fine. It's not a problem. Like it was pretty good fun, really. But yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, you kind of got to make it fun, and we just got to make it sort of. You got to have a laugh on the day, and this is why I like working with you as well, is because we do have a sort of sense of humor about it. We're from the same.
You got to them now.
Yeah, we got it. And I've worked with some people before who are like, not quite as up for a laugh or don't engage as much with the wedding guest. I mean, if you're doing Welsh weddings, you kind of just got to, take it.
Go with it, don't you?
That's right.
Because you're gonna get them. I don't know what to say. You're gonna get a lot of.
You're gonna get some characters, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. You can learn to be. You can be really sort of dismissive of it.
What about you, James? Because you come in, didn't you? Sort of at the time. Well, I don't know. Like a magician would come in sort of towards the end, beginning of the evening, starting, is it maybe?
Well, typically for me, I tend to do like the lull parts of the day. So, I mean, every wedding,
the entertainment, I guess, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, every wedding's different, but it's typically the photo period. So after the ceremony, before the wedding breakfast, where you guys whisk people off, and you get all of those couple shots. So there's about an hour and a half usually, where people are like going from the ceremony to the wedding the venue or wherever. So I entertain the change around from the day to the evening as well. So the wedding breakfast is finished. People stand to relax. And most
relax because of what? Alcohol? Because at that
the speeches are done as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
And a lot of venues, people come out of the main room for them to reorganize like the dance floor and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And then you've got evening guests arriving at the same time, so that's all, a quite a good time for magic too. But there's loads and loads of funny stories. I mean, some of them, I wouldn't want to say. I'm not sure if I can think of one off the top of my head.
You probably meet a lot of characters because the characters are coming out there because they've had a few drinks, they've been in all day.
I mean, I very rarely get challenged. I think with a lot of magicians, I say a lot, but certainly with some magicians, people kind of want to figure out how they're doing it. I never present magic like a challenge, like a puzzle for them to solve. It's always just about creating little moments and just enjoying it. So similar to what you were saying, really is, it's almost like they're blending in with the crowd and almost becoming part of this cool wedding party and just enjoying it. And I don't have set things that I'll do. So I'll go to a wedding and I'll see, the type of people and what they start reacting to, and then I'll change things. And I think that's just into the experience.
When I've seen you at weddings, I mean, you go you find a group of people or sitting around a table or something, then you go and approach them and show some of your trade, some of your magic.
Yeah.
Because obviously then I see you doing your thing, and I think, right, you were an important part. The bride and groom have hired you to entertain these guests. So you're an important part of the wedding. So I'll rush over, not just you, with any magician or any other service in there. Make sure they got some really nice action photographs of, especially if you're with the bride and groom, because that's quite a nice moment,
That's really appreciated.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously then I'm off doing other photographs, so I don't see how you carry it on. Do you actually try and get around everybody in the wedding, or is it just a select few? Or
no, always around everybody. I think at the bride and groom, or the couple, they pay me to entertain the guests. So, very rarely a couple will say, can you focus on family? And even that's quite difficult to do because it's not obvious when you walk into a wedding, is it? I mean, the bridesmaids and the ushers and whatever, but other than that, it's difficult. But usually they just want everyone entertained. So lots of different ways to approach it. I mean, usually if I'm going to do tables and I'm there for 2 hours, I'll go in and I'll just divide the 2 hours by however many tables are there on the day. Again, with experience, I ask people at the time of booking how many guests they're expecting. because
Yeah.
I've been booked for in the early days for like 3 hours for a wedding party of 30. And as
Okay.
much as I love magic, there's no way I could spend 45 minutes per person
Wow.
watching magic. Because you're there for other things as well, meeting, chatting to family and stuff. And similarly, like Matthew, I've done some Indian weddings or Nigerian weddings where I've been booked for 2 hours and I turn up and there's 1,000 people there.
Yeah, I bet.
And never ever, I couldn't even say hello to 1,000 people in 2 hours.
No.
So you just do. This comes with experience. You kind of just do what you can, really, and you kind of know. I didn't know about dividing the tables or the amount of people by time and just simple things like that. But it makes a massive difference. But yeah,
And it comes with experience, doesn't it?
The only kind of funny thing, sorry, Matt, is when I approach people, and it's always the hardest thing to do, and say, "Oh, my name's James, I'm a magician," or I'll say a mind reader or whatever, and I'll always ask them, "Do you want to see magic?" Because I think it's important. And sometimes people say no, and it's like they're like, "No, not today," and it's kind of like a conundrum because obviously I'm getting paid to entertain them, so I got to make an effort. But then obviously they don't want to see. When I first started doing magic, I used to get quite upset about that. Like I'd take it quite personally. But then you realize then that anything can be happening for that person on that day. They could have broke up with their partner.
Yeah.
They could have had an argument. Could have lost their job the day before. So just don't take anything personally. So
And I think that's the same with us.
I mean, that's really. Right, so who doesn't like magic?
I know.
It's like, I serious note, I do get what you're saying. It's just a strange sort of thing to say in it. No, I don't want to see any magic. I could be in the worst mood ever, and I definitely still want to see some magic. Like,
yeah, me too. But again, it's past experiences as well. I do magic every day, so I still think I think of it as very common. Whereas I meet people in weddings, and I've never experienced a close-up magician.
Yeah.
So some of those people are excited about it because we got people like Dynamo and stuff on TV, whereas some people are still thinking that it's like an old man with a bunny tie and a perception of magic. So again, I don't blame anybody, but that it's very, very rare. Maybe 1 or 2 people a year that say no to me now. So I usually say, if they say I hate magicians, because that happens, I say me, and my response is nearly always, well, me too.
That's magicianist. That is. That's terribly magicianist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the one thing I do like about what you guys do is, I usually when I'm trying to focus on the features and the people, the vendors who are there, I kind of forget there's a magician there because you're so sort of stealthy. You sort of just join the party, and you're almost like a member of the crowd. And then I go, oh my god, there's a magician over there. That's the thing I really love about magicians. It's like suddenly, as if by magic, you have appeared in the party.
That's right.
And a part of me feels a bit guilty. I'm like, oh, how much have I missed? Like, how long have they been here? How long have I not noticed they're there? But I think it's just you just sort of come in and join the party so naturally. And again, when we talk about like having that rapport with the guests and being a friendly face, I think magicians have got that down more than anyone else. I think so.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I mean, like what I do is just make people smile and just give people a moment of a react. Those reaction shots that you capture so brilliantly, and they're just like dumbfounded and they forget everything else that's going on, and it's just about that moment, and it's really, really powerful. That's why I do magic, because to give people those type of feelings. So
yeah,
and it's not too dissimilar to how I feel from watching that video of yours, Matt.
No, thank you. I think I think the common denominator there is happiness. Like I said, whether it's through a funny reaction or something that makes you a bit emotional but still happy, like if it's the music swelling up, or I think that's all I want to do is make something that makes people happy, and that's the only sort of goal really, is just to make people watch that now in 2 years. Who knows? Maybe Rochelle and Ashley have watched that today or anniversary or whatever, and it'll sort of be as fresh years down the line and make them feel just as happy as they felt on that day. And it's corny as hell to say, but That's the only
That's
that's
right.
the only goal really is his happiness, you know.
And I think
Yeah.
when the edit's done, and then you get some feedback from the brides and grooms, and they go, "I just watched the highlight movie, and I just cried. I cried because it just brought back
Yeah.
so many memories, and it's lovely. Like it's lovely to hear, you know." But
I mean, I'm a crier of films. I you know, if a film gets me, it gets me. So I quite like sort of recruiting other like big hard men to sort of, you know, cry at films.
that's right.
You know, you're doing a good job, don't you? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
as long as you
Yeah.
make the don't cry for the right reasons or the wrong reasons, obviously.
That's
Yeah,
very
absolutely. Well, leading on, that's actually leading on to my next question, which is, what tips would you give to couples looking to book a videographer? Is there anything specific or any hints and things that you could suggest to them?
I think from what I see, obviously this is from years of experience in this game, I've seen people come and go. And the one thing I notice with the ones that end up going before time is they focus a lot on the technology, and they focus a lot on the tools of the craft rather than what the craft is. So,
Yeah.
you know, they might come up to a wedding fair and they'll like say, "Oh, I've got this super duper 18K, you know, cost me loads of money camera, and I got a drone and I got a crane and I got this and I got that." And you tend to find those guys get bored as soon as the technology sort of
Mm.
as soon as the technology goes obsolete, which it does. You know,
Mhm.
the technology changes every 3 years at most, really. You know, 3 years from now we'll be shooting with completely different cameras, which is so alien from today that, you know, it'll make your mind bend. But the real the ones that stick at it are the ones who can tell a story, and that's the most important thing. It's not about, you know, the resolution of the camera. It's not about the transitions they got. It's not about the music they put in the background. It's all about, you know, watch one of their videos, and if they engage with you and makes you feel something, then that's a good videographer. It's just it's storytelling. Like, you know, Les's photos will tell a story in an album,
Yeah.
and the narrative there, and you know, the build up. It's a storytelling like a book. It's just another way of telling a story. And I think people tend to get. I watch some videos where, you know, it's like 2 minutes have passed and nothing's happened. It's just like a montage of shots.
No, yeah.
Oh, where's the story in this, man? You know what I mean? So that would be my only sort of advice would be, don't worry about what they tell you about the camera and how amazing it is and la 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 la. Just focus on let it work through the talking. Simple as.
Yeah.
And I think that where a lot of people will fail is that they could have all the best skills in the world. I mean, better photographers, better videographers than Matthew, better photographers than me. It's a wedding is not just about, as a photographer, taking photos.
No, absolutely.
Managing people's expectations is one of the biggest downfalls for anybody in this game, is managing a person's expectations of what they're going to receive, because the internet is such a massive, vast thing these days. They could see, and it happened to me when I first started, not so much when I first started, but a couple of years in, people were like going on, like finding this wonderful like ad campaigns for wedding dresses, watching the ad for it, which probably took like £1 million to shoot.
Yeah.
Over about 4 months, all this wonderful things going on and blah, 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 lighting and cranes and rain falling down, going, God, I'm going to have video like that, aren't I?
Yeah.
I said, well, if it rains, yes, you will, because I can't bring a rain machine, but if it rains, we want to go outside, I'm quite happy to do that. All my kit is weatherproof. We'll be out there because rain shots are amazing anyway, but no bride will want to do that unless we get a little brolly over them and stuff, you know? Oh, God, yeah. So this is going to be... I can't give you this £1 million production movie that you've watched on the internet. Yeah. So it's managing them expectations, talking and being open and transparent with your bride and grooms. Look at my work. Look at my work. Look at Matthew's work. This is what we are going to provide you. And it's high quality stuff, but we could never compete with £1 million ad campaign for some amazing perfume. Or, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But the irony there is that that you wouldn't want that for your wedding anyway, would you? I know people see things and think, "Oh, that looks class," but then it wouldn't translate to their wedding anyway, would it? And it's funny that what I'm picking up really here is it's not even for me. There's some very technically good magicians, but I find some of them can't. There are some obviously they can, but some of them can't engage people,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
one of the key things.
50% of the job.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe more.
People have a great camera and think, right, I'll be a wedding photographer. We all got to start somewhere. I don't advise people to do that, mind, because it is somebody else's day. Shadow a wedding photographer first, I would, for a couple of, maybe a season or whatever, just to see exactly what goes on. But they get there and then they think, oh, I've got to get these people now to do what I want them to do without denying them, without getting on their nerves. That takes a lot of skill to do that.
It's a lot of skill. It's a lot of skill.
And I think it frightens people off, and they do one or two, and they're like, "It's not for me,"
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. On about the £1 million though, it was similar when the first series of Dynamo come out, and that had I think £1 million budget on watch, and people would commonly ask me, "Can I walk through windows?" And can I walk on water and stuff like that? And it was so it was those managing.
I said yes, I can. I'm magic.
Well, I said no, I can't walk on water, but I can swim through land. That was always my response. So yeah,
Okay,
appreciate
right.
that.
Matt, thank you for the questions.
Thank you so much, Matt. That was awesome.
We'll do enough there. We're going to chat about weddings and COVID-19.
Yeah.
Do you want to stay and just have a little chat with us for a bit?
Definitely, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah, it's I've got a lot of opinions on. So
Perfect.
it's I mean, right now, the buzzword is sort of uncertainty, and it's a buzzword for a reason. I think there's a lot of things that wedding vendors can do to help clients. I think that's the thing I've learned the most is helping my clients who are booked in for this year. Make arrangements for next year. I've been working with Les, round the clock to get people booked in for as soon as we can. I mean, personally, I'm not taking any bookings, any new bookings until my current clients are sorted out, because I wouldn't want to double book. And there's a few other photographers who I respect who are doing the exact same thing of holding back on raking the deposits in for a second just to help customers. And you guys are doing this now, which is this is helping. Hopefully, it's helping people make decisions, and it's helping reassure people that this is going to pass, and we are going to come back to it.
Yeah.
We are here to help. Yeah. We might not be able to actually photograph you physically, but helping is a part of our job, as normal. So this is a part of it, really. And I think it's a big thing for people to walk away with is just pay attention to who's helping people throughout this.
I think it's quite important.
And
how was it with you, James? I mean, with your trade for weddings for Magic. I mean, how are your brides dealing with this at the moment? Are you having a lot of cancellations, which I guess
so it'll be similar to everybody else. I mean, they've made weddings illegal essentially, haven't they, at the moment? So people have to kind of rearrange the wedding. I've had couples that have had to do that twice now.
Me too.
Which is a thing. But I think, going back to what Matthew said, it was really, really important to me, and it always is, right, that it's not just about me doing magic on the day. It's about like the customer service, and I really, really think it's important. So since day one, really, I've been, researching where people can get wedding insurance, and I like a blog, Matt. I don't know if you've read any of mine, but I always write blogs, and don't panic if you haven't. I don't think many people do actually read them. But,
right after this, though,
but I think that it's important that I give that information to people. So if I can be helpful at all, then I want to do it. So all my couples I contacted, and just made them aware that I'm not going to penalize anybody if they want to move any dates, and that I'll work with them, and and I was speaking to Les about it the other day, Les, when people are going about it in lots of different ways. So some people are, just booking in a new date and telling everybody. Some of my couples have put me in a Facebook group with 30 other wedding providers, and trying to hash out the date that way and whatever. But I'm just trying to be as proactive as I can, and yeah, like you said, Martha, I would like to think that people remember the people who are really making an effort for them. So
yeah, and I think I'm pretty the same as you. I mean, I've got brides that have cancelled. Postponed, the first date, and then they're ringing me back going, we're going to have to cancel this one as well. And they're moving it on a 12-month in. I still got a couple of weddings booked in for this year. I'm fingers crossing everything for them that these will go ahead, but quite potentially it could get cancelled again. So it's a difficult thing, not just for bride and grooms, for wedding services like us, who are literally now just like, I mean, this is devised. This webcast is devised from our free time at the moment, and just trying to help out people, I guess. But I think that I've been thinking about what I would do if this was my wedding, and I would probably sort of like look at I don't know, explain them really, but like essential services that I got, because brides have probably got how many services have we got in a standard wedding? Probably about 20 to 30 different services going on,
it'd be worth counting them up one day.
Yes, you've got like photographers, videographers, you've got magicians, you've got DJs, you've got caterers, florists, makeup, hair, venue,
wedding stationery, so on and so forth. Yeah,
so much going on. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, I would probably look at them, because I think if you emailed all them people at once, I think it'd be quite difficult to keep track of what's going on. So I was thinking, what do we actually need? What would I need to get married? And I've come up with two things, right? So let's discuss this now, right? Only two, right? And controversially, one isn't a photographer, right? Like I said, this isn't a hard sell, so I'm not saying you need a photographer. You need one. So to get married, I would say you need a registrar. Right?
You need somebody to marry you, don't you?
You need someone to marry you, yeah, okay. So you need that. That's ultimately essential. And then you need a venue. I can't think of anything else you need to get married. Apart to take away people, and stuff like that, right? But to actually do the deed of marriage, registrar or someone to officiate and marry, and a venue. A venue being a venue or registry office.
I think that's going to be evident now with whatever changes come into place. Because I mean, if you, depending on who you listen to, it's going to be a while before things return back to normal, especially for anything where there's a big gathering of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or, weddings, music festivals, etc., etc. They're going to be the last things to come back, really. So I think rather than
the email,
So
to sort out your two main things would be your registrar and a venue. So I would literally sort them first. Yeah. And this is like me, if I'm, I don't want people jumping on me going, oh, you shouldn't be, but I think that's important. This is not about us. This is their wedding, I mean, we are small businesses, and we are, losing money here, there and everywhere, and trying to keep afloat to continue this for when all this comes back. But for me, if I was a bride or a groom, I would make sure the venue and registrar are synced back up for this new date. Then I'd go to so they would be like high priority, and then sort of like, I don't know, medium priority maybe. So then I would say photography comes in, and all your if you're having caterers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you tier it, Les, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
you'd have like a tier 1 is like the essential, the
tier of importance, Jim. Boosh.
Yeah, the tier of importance.
The important tier of importance. Yeah, one of them.
Yeah, and again, yeah, absolutely. I
What
mean,
would you say
obviously,
was in the middle section?
I'd say a photographer. I mean, if it was my wedding, I look back at the things I had from my wedding, and it's my wedding video and my wedding photos.
Yeah, because I'm also thinking that the bride has already got a dress.
Yeah.
And although suits, obviously you need suits, so suits would be high priority as well if they're hiring suits. Didn't think of suits, so suits would be in the high priority. Do you think?
It depends on your wedding, doesn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. Some people, yeah, it would be.
And then so you're looking at, I would say, like photographers, videographers, if you want a videographer as well, caterers, wedding decor, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to implore people to have a wedding videographer, to be honest. Not just because Matthew's on, yeah, and obviously because you work together. Just because when I'm looking back at it, my wedding video is, you know, even though it's not shot to the quality you got, it's still seeing people and stuff.
You love it.
I can't honestly can't put a value on it and enough. And I like say to people to, you know, ask your friends and family who've had wedding videos and see how much that means to them. Because yeah, sorry, Les, I jumped in. But yeah,
No,
it's really, really important. But yeah, you're right. I mean, obviously, I want business as well, but not every wedding needs a magician. You know, for some weddings, probably a magician isn't a good idea, and I'm a magician, so I'm not. You know, you don't. There's, in fact, I wrote a blog about other ways to entertain your guests without the magician. So that's available.
But I would say that section, like you said, where you come in, well, you probably come in different sections really, but the majority of the time you come into that section where the speeches are done, the room's getting turned around, bride and groom or the bride's gone to reapply makeup or just have a chill away from everything, or we've taken them back off and done some photographs. So you were there to entertain the guests, and I've been to plenty of weddings, not just as a photographer. And there's that moment there where it's a bit like, what do we do? What do we do here now? And I think that's where your role becomes important because you entertain the people then until the night starts.
Yeah,
I think,
and to keep our mood up as well is
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. I mean,
it's making sure it doesn't dip down, and that's really important. Otherwise, you might fall asleep or leave or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the most important things in a wedding for me is the atmosphere. And you can achieve a good atmosphere spending a lot of money, and you can achieve a good atmosphere spending not a lot of money. But it's really, really important that you consider those time periods. Are people going to be waiting around a long time? So not just what the couple will be doing, but also like what's happening for the guests at that point. And again, you don't need to spend a lot of money to achieve some of those things. But yeah, it is very, very important.
Yeah. So I think that's quite a good idea. Do you tier the importance of the service?
Certainly.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying my service is more important than I don't know, a chocolate fountain company or a sweet cart company or whatever, But generally, chocolate fountain companies have more than one chocolate fountain. So you could go to them later on down the line.
That's another. Yeah, that's another interesting way of looking at it, though. Obviously, because you and Matthew were hired all day, I would imagine. Whereas I'm coming in for an hour or two usually.
Yeah.
So like I'm not struggling at the moment to fit couples in because I can have a conversation with them, and if I don't do the wedding the photo period, I call it, between the ceremony and wedding breakfast, I can come in and do the later in the day.
Yeah, of course.
So they can mix and match, and I tend to only book one wedding in per day, but in theory I could do 2 or 3. So so my availability is much higher than yours because you are there all day, and there's only a certain amount of days, weekends in a year. Yeah. And but even then, again, I've got weddings next year which are on Mondays and Tuesdays, just because it's so manic with availability and things.
Next year is going to be insane because you got brides this year. Like I said, sometimes they're on their 3rd date now, and they're all going for next year.
Yeah.
So trying to fit in them with your ones already booked in. So I would say to all brides out there, to literally book up as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Just so you get your date you want, because there are at least, there's a good handful of brides that I can't actually complete anymore because they've changed the date and I'm already booked with somebody else's wedding.
I'm going to say something maybe potentially controversial, right? But you're saying about prioritizing vendors, prioritizing guests as well. I mean, how many brides and grooms invite people who maybe they're not like on, or maybe don't need to really be there, and people who probably don't really want to be there. maybe it's a good idea to go, right, who definitely needs to be at my wedding? Family, closest friends, proper loved ones. And I think weddings are, as a result of this, going to get far more intimate and more
Yeah,
that way. It's
certainly
not-
in the short term.
Oh, definitely, 100%. The first few coming back, I think we'll be in a far different position, and I think it might go from 100 guests in a day to 20. You never know. So I think it's a good time as well for the bride and groom to reflect on, right, who actually really matters and who we really need at our wedding. So
Yeah, do you know it's bizarre you say that, because some of the couples that I've been supporting to rearrange some of their stuff, obviously my performances, they've had like agreements from all the vendors, and then some of the wedding guests have come back and said, well, actually that day don't work for me. Which is another consideration for people watching us. I think one family, like, it was an anniversary of a death, and obviously I'm not going to say any names, but I mean, things like that are really important. So some of the family didn't really want to do it on that day. Some people are like, probably like us, like friends, they might already be in somebody else's wedding.
Yeah, and we've only got 52 weekends in a year, so if you're taking the weekends and the prime dates, obviously around August and the bank holidays and whatever, you're not leaving a lot of options. I mean, it's there's only a few dates, and like you said, people still want to get married as normal. The ones who have already booked for 2021.
Yeah.
So next year is going to be a big challenge. I think it's going to be a lot more weekday weddings. There's going to be people, scheduling crazy times, crazy days. But again, like I said earlier, this is the time where you need to look at the vendors, which ones are helping you, and remember that for the future. And those are the ones you want to have working with you.
Yeah, and like you said, the key thing coming out of this really is to book as early as possible. Make sure you're having the conversations with people rather than just saying, right, this is my new date. Because it's not just difficult sometimes for wedding services. It can also be difficult for your wedding guests, which I hadn't even considered until those people come back to me and said, can I change the date again? Yeah, so that's all the things you can do. And I think we plan to talk maybe in future about methods of organizing this differently. So in terms of people, how to kind of do it all in one go and have like a coherent approach to it. Because some things I find more difficult. I mean, I know it's like, for example, like a Facebook group chat, I find a little bit more difficult because there's so many messages there. So, you wake up in the morning and I've got 153 messages on a group chat.
That's right.
And I struggle with some of that sometimes. But yeah, we'll talk about that definitely in future.
Yeah.
Very challenging times ahead, guys. But
it is.
Sorry, Matt.
No, I was just going to say the thing that I think we all need to remember is, there's people who've got it worse than us. That's number one.
100%.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of positives to come out of it. I mean, like say with in terms of downscaling, in terms of prioritization, I think people are going to sort of reflect on what a wedding actually is. And it's not a big fun fair with like a million people necessarily. It's it's your day. It's for you.
It could be, but
it could be if you're into fun fairs. I am anyway. But but I think it's going to be a time for everyone to sort of think about what's happening really and where we're going in the future.
And I still think as well that it's important that people try and get wedding insurance, because I think a lot of people got caught out with that. And when this coronavirus thing first kicked off, I was doing the rounds like online searching for wedding insurance. And I think at that point, they said you couldn't have your wedding insured for anything like in the next 120 days. So, but that still would have meant that people in March could have had their wedding covered for November.
Well, I had a
next year, so I would encourage people to still look at that seriously and get that, because weddings are not cheap.
And I totally agree. But I also had a wedding, bride and groom who had wedding insurance way before this kicked off, before it was even spoke about, and they couldn't claim for whatever reason. I obviously didn't get into the legal end of it. but for whatever reason, the insurance company said that they wouldn't pay out because of some sort of thing they didn't do right. So, I mean, what I would say is if you do get a wedding insurance, you make sure you read the terms and conditions, because something happened which, I don't know, they just didn't pay out in the end. You know, you're trying to run them through some sort of legal jargon and stuff, and they give up in the end. But yeah, just read the terms and conditions, because I do it all the time. I got insurance for my mobile phone. I don't know what it covers. I just think it'll cover me for everything. So if my dog chews it, and I'm, oh, Ned, what are you doing, man? Ringing the insurance company up. My dog chewed. Oh, sorry, you haven't read the terms and conditions. If your dog chews it, you've had it.
His name's Ned.
His name is Ned, and he's a French bulldog, and he's a pain in my backside. Then sorry, you can't have it. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, didn't read it.
Yeah, but again, though, like, we are blessed with so much information that you can research companies where you should be researching and speaking to people who, like, are wedding providers, and make sure that they are reputable. You can see reviews that people leave for these type of companies as well, and just make sure you do all you can, like, because the last thing you want to be is in a position where you're losing any money at all. So yeah.
Totally agree. Okay, that is 1 hour, 16 minutes, gentlemen.
Wow.
No way.
That's only 16 minutes over.
Yeah, but you know, I think your first episode, you've done very, very well. And
do you know what? I've thoroughly enjoyed this, boys. I'm not even joking. I've learned quite a bit, and yeah, it's class. Like, it's really good information.
I think it's our conversation with, you know, all vets have with each other. You know, when they're actually at weddings, and you know, me and Les talk about everything when we're at weddings, when, you know, whether it's gear coming up, or you know, this happened or that happened, or you know, anything. And I think we're a talkative industry, and I think we need to have this conversation with more people and more regularly, you know. So I'm glad you guys are doing it. Thank you very much.
No problem. Matthew,
it was a genuine pleasure. Thank you.
Film.production.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the website.
Yeah,
or come to my website, clicksphotography.co.uk, and we can chat to you about your wedding day for any photography or film.
Definitely. And
anything you want to say before you leave, Matt?
I was just going to say thank you, guys, and you know, well, to everyone watching this, you know, don't worry, we will come back to it, and we will come back better and bigger than ever when all this is over. You're going to appreciate it far, far more when this is all over. So savor that thought, and we'll see you soon. And guys, thanks for having me on. And
absolute
thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I'll speak to you very soon.
Speak soon. Cheers.
Take care, Matt. All the best. Nice to meet you.
Okay, James, that was show 1 done.
Perfect.
So next week, we're gonna trial this every fortnight. Is that correct? But we're gonna do another extra one next week. Only just to, I'm only saying this now, so when we play next week's one, this one first, people will know there's another one coming the week after. But we are gonna then go live. Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah. So we're gonna go live on the 3rd one, are we?
Yeah. Should we?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Happy days.
Yeah. So then we got 2 weeks to plug this, get people to the page, and then my mother can join in and send questions to us.
Yeah, perfect. I think I couldn't believe the audio when we first went live, and that was crazy.
Crazy that, yeah.
Why that dropped out, and I had my phone on airplane mode, and my daughter still was able to ring me halfway through.
Yeah. So anyway, let's tie this one up in a minute. So see you next week.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Hope you will enjoy this. Any questions? Please send us some questions to info@thewedcast.co.uk.
Or any kind of topics that you want us to discuss, that would be amazing.
Next week, I don't know. Can we talk? Can we just do a bit of magic to get you a section done? Because I wouldn't mind know about a little bit more about what magicians get up to and different entertainment and stuff like that.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll have another magical guest.
There we are. Perfect. Let's try and get a magical guest on. I hope it's David Copperfield.
Yeah, he's better than David Copperfield.
Is he really? My knowledge of magicians is clearly poor. I was going to say Paul Daniels, but I believe rest his soul, he's not with us any longer.
No, he's not. No, but he absolute legend. Yeah, R.I.P.
Because that's magic. Is that what he says?
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I should know because I grew up watching
should
Paul
know.
Cornell.
You should
I know.
know. Anyway, thank you very much. Hope everybody's enjoyed
Absolute
it.
pleasure.
A little bit of information from this, even if you just take one thing from it. It's our first one. Be nice to us. It'll get better as it goes along.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Speak to you very soon.
Take care.
Over and out, gents. Let's chat weddings.